Hello everyone! Well, the moment has finally come for a new tier list. To be honest, I really wanted to do it early, especially after the huge number of changes in patch 5.12, but as I told you before, I wanted to wait for the release of the new map and new rebalance split, so that the tier list would be relevant until episode 7, because the next such a big changes we will see not soon, due to the fact that the new VCT season is getting closer and closer, and during the tournaments developers do almost nothing in terms of balance. In general, let's not delay, I wish you a pleasant viewing and let's get started. And we're gonna start with tier 5. This time there is no Yoru, but there is a Harbor. And so let me immediately answer to everyone who will write something like, yeah, you just don't know how to play Harbor, he's super good, you just need to practice him more. But guys, listen to me, the agent has been released for like already more than 2 months now. He even already got some buffs, but so that you understand, even at some tier 2 tournaments, players don't take him at all, just zero, lower than Yoru. The agent turned out to be cool, but useless. He lacks something that will help him to control the territory more, that's all. Maybe you can come up with something playing Harbor on attack, but there is really nothing to help the team with on city side, and there are no skills that will help you make kills either. So for now, Harbor is in tier 5. And since he was there alone, we go straight to tier 4. It's a little more interesting here, or I can say rather it's very interesting here, but to integrate you a little bit, let's quickly run through Neon and Yoru. Yoru should have been buffed a long time ago, as well as Neon, but nothing was done with them at all, just little changes. In fact, at some point in episode 5 I played Neon quite a lot. I stupidly began to like her. The agent was again not bad, but when I stopped playing Neon, the win rate increased significantly, because again, the agent is not the best in terms of usefulness. The same situation with Yoru. I played almost only on him during the test of the new map, and it seemed to me that he could be quite good on Lotus, and in general it was somehow even fun to play on him. But fun and again usefulness are different things, plus in the matches there were different players from Gold to Immortals, so yeah, it's not even a matter of rank, people played on this event more for fun, as I said. So I decided to think more critically, and I understand that, by the way, if we talk about maps, then probably the only map where Yoru was even taken a couple of times at tournaments was Breeze, and now we don't have it. So Yoru and Neon right now at tier 4, not tier 5, because it became at least more fun to play on them. Then the Reyna. Let's not spend a lot of time on her, because there are already a lot of agents and the tier list will stretch too much. So Riot doesn't do anything with Reyna, the agent still can be picked only to play for kills, so she still remains in tier 4, and the rotation of maps will not affect her in any way. Well, I've been thinking for a long time about where should I put Astra, and you know, I'm still not ready to put her on tier 4 with all these agents, but I'm ready to put here another agent, Chamber. Yes, you heard right, it's Chamber. And let's stay on Chamber for a little bit more. This time I was wrong, I was really wrong when I say that Nurse would not affect Chamber so much, but in fact I just stopped seeing this agent in matchmaking at all, just as I stopped seeing him at all kind of tournaments. Pro players don't use him on scrims, except sometimes maybe on Ascent, but globally almost everyone refused to play on this agent, and it makes me insanely happy, I can say, because his domination on the whole last episode was irreadable. So the fact that Chamber is now kinda killed and lowered right into tier 4 is cool. As for me, he will no longer be able to perform the role of Sentinel because, well, come on, if you made radius for his trap, then maybe you should at least return the second one back to him. Plus the speed of the ultimate greatly affected, and well, yeah, I understand that Killjoy also has a radius for her abilities, but Killjoy is usually just seen on tape, while Chamber is a much more active agent. Plus, Chamber skills do not shoot at you, so one trap will certainly not be enough for him. Okay, now let's move on to the largest of all these tier lists, to the tier 3 agents. Well, let's start with Astra. Why is she so low? In fact, Astra is an agent of one map, Pearl. Yes, Astra of course sometimes gets picked on Ascent, sometimes on Bind, but right now the Omen will be stronger on Ascent, and the Bind was removed, while Split has been returned and the Lotus was added as well, where Omen will also be stronger. I think that an agent who is always chosen on at least one map no longer deserves to be in tier 4, so that's why Astra is in tier 3. Or let's say she's in tier 3.5. Deal? Let's move on to the next smoker, Brimstone. His situation is somewhat similar to Astra, plus one of his strongest maps has been removed, but on the other hand, Brimstone has always been good on Split. Plus it is quite possible that he will be able to play play pretty good on the new map Lotus. Viper in tier 3 as well. With Viper the situation is already more interesting. Viper usually stayed high on such tier lists due to the icebox, where she is needed in every game, and because of Breeze, where she also has a 100% pick rate. However, again I repeat, Breeze was removed and Split for the Viper was never a particularly strong map, but I guess at the end of the episode 4 players started to play on Split with Viper for a bit more, and it is quite convenient to throw lineups on the Split. Plus Viper showed herself pretty well on Lotus. Lotus is generally a very interesting map, like the distances are small, but it seems there are places where the Viper wall comes in. But again, the map is very dynamic and you can pick up your wall, so it is unlikely that Viper will be able to fit in perfectly on Lotus. Next is KO, and again a similar situation. The agent was the most important on the Breeze, but now we get Split and Lotus. But neither there nor there he will not be just as cool and useful for me. Although pro teams played him periodically on Split and they did well, but it is still not the same as having almost 100% pick rate like on Breeze. Raze has been somewhere in the middle for a long time and she always felt great here. I remember when Split was removed I shifted the Raze a little lower, because Split and Bind were signature maps for Raze. Now the situation is mirrored, Split was returned and Bind was taken away, so Raze remains in the same position. You're probably already tired of waiting, like, damn bro, where is the Phoenix? And here is the Phoenix, the one that has been so useless all this time, but it changed. Firstly, Riot finally did something to Phoenix, plus the return of Split, and in this case it is important, the addition of the new map, very suitable for him. A lot of good angles for flashes, a lot of ways to get out thanks to these flashes in a duel convenient for yourself. So also the wall which on Lotus can be really useful due to the fact that in some places the map is not too long but not too short, as I said before. So yeah, Riot already did a few steps to move Phoenix on the top level. Next, Skye. Here is a difficult situation for her. On the one hand, she was nerfed a lot. The dock is more expensive now, flashes became worse, but due to the fact that Skye was again very well used on the Split, plus she showed herself quite well on the new map, I think tier 3 is just right for her. The agent has become not so strong if you use her as a duelist, that's it, if you throw flashes for yourself and so on. But if you play in pairs, it is still a cool agent and it will be convenient to use Skye flashes on Split as well. And finally, the last agent on tier 3 is Cypher. Cypher is back in the meta and it is so cool, even though I hated him before while I was Jet main, because the traps ruined everything for me. But I say, Chamber became even more frustrating, so I am even ready to get caught by the Cypher again. But well, he's still not as strong as some of you would like. By the way, do you remember how back in the closed beta test Cypher cages generally slowed down the players, like Sage slow orbs? Maybe it is time to return something like this to Cypher, or it is super flawless. Let me know what you think. And finally, the tier 2 list. All agents from this list will be actively played throughout the 6th episode or even longer. But let's start with Omen. I'm very glad that he returned to the high positions, causes nostalgic feelings from the closed beta test again. He was generally my favorite agent. It is very cool that Riot made his flash cheaper, and now on pistol round you can take armor, a flash and immediately a second smoke, which was so often lacking and had to look for a compromise, and the compromise was the rejection of armor or a flash. Omen was not played at all on Bind and Breeze, but Split is an ideal map for him. As for me, and as I said earlier, Lotus is also quite suitable. In short, with the departure of Breeze, Omen became the most flexible smoker in the game. Tier 2 for Jet might be not even enough for now, although again, her strong map was Breeze. Split was rarely suitable for her, so it is more likely that Raze will take the Lulus niche, and Lotus is not the best map for Jet either, because it is not suitable at all for snipers. But anyway, due to the departure of the Chamber, Jet clearly began to feel more confident. Next we will discuss two agents at once, Sova and Fate. Here on the one hand, Sova should have become weaker, because his map Breeze with 100% pick rate for Sova leaves, while the Split returns, where I'm pretty sure Fate will be stronger, and it is because of this I put Fate above Skye. As for me, Fate with her cats will be very suitable for Split to drive away snipers, for example, plus collecting information on such a map will be again more convenient. Doing all this stuff like Raze Nade plus Fate cage combinations will all make Fate feels really strong on Split. So it turns out that the Sova needs to be moved down to tier 3? Not really, because on Lotus, in my opinion, Sova will still be more comfortable due to the fact that map is short on one side, but there are many places where the Sova will come to its target wall and and Fade's reveal doesn't. As a result, a certain parity is obtained, so Fade and Sova are both remain in tier 2, although this time it is already a little on the verge. Again, since the past, Fade has been heavily nerfed, but now she is much more balanced. Next we have Breach. From the fact that Breach stopped breaking the Killjoy, he didn't become weaker himself, it's just Killjoy became stronger. And Breach is still the same cool agent for Fracture. Again, Bind and Breeze were not his maps at all, but Split will be just right. I'm not sure about the Lotus, but Split has always been very cool for Breach. And as you can hear, I'm talking about Split as if it were an old Split, but there are so few changes on it that I think it is quite logical and normal to say so. As a result, it turns out that Breach is constantly taking on Heaven, on Fracture and now on Split, and this is more than enough to be in tier 2. So there are 2 agents left, and you know, initially I didn't want to put anyone in tier 1 for the first time, because well, no agent stood out for me too much. However, I made my decision. Sage completes the tier 2 list. It is obvious that she doesn't deserve the tier 1, she's even hardly achieved tier 2, only to the fact that I understand in advance that players will take her again so often on Split, and it turns out that she's indispensable on Icebox, plus she comes back to Split, and this is why she's on tier 2. But Sage here is not even that interesting, because she and her gameplay didn't change, unlike the agent from the tier 1. And now, for the first time in the history of my tier list, I have Killjoy in the first place, even suddenly for myself, and let me explain why she is at tier 1. Let's start by looking at the pick rate of this agent in tier 2 tournaments. Killjoy stands above everyone, and that's not all. The most important thing is that players just didn't take her on Breeze at all. She was very rarely taken on Bind, and what a coincidence, the 2 weakest and only maps are leaving the map pool, and now Split, that is ideal for Killjoy, where she has always been good, comes as a replace, but now she will be even stronger because again, you can say bye bye to Breach since he can't destroy your ultimate, plus Lotus, which is also very good for Killjoy, because there you need to control the territory so hard and Killjoy is perfect for this on Lotus. Also her ultimate closes each of 3 bomb site and it is very easy to put in. In fact, I always like Killjoy and she was an interesting agent for me, and now should be for you as well, so Killjoy in tier 1 and it is totally deserved. This is how the tier list turned out this time. Write what you agree with and what you don't, and of course write your tier list in the comments, it will be very interesting for me to read. Well, this video come to an end, many thanks to everyone who watched to the end, see you soon and bye bye.